Hello, ham radio friends around the world. This is Ray, W2RE, and I want to talk about how to obtain an FCC license from overseas. I'm going to have Connor, W4IPC, help me along with this presentation. He's going to put some links. He's going to put some links inside the chat window. So there's a huge expansion going on right now with ham radio that you may not be aware of, and I'd like to bring it to the forefront here. The expansion of the hobby happens to do with people obtaining their FCC license from overseas, and also the expansion of the youths in the hobby. As you know, I'm very pro youth. And I'm all about getting young people on the air because, let's face it, that's the future of the hobby. And it's always been a thing with me. Even as I started in the hobby, I always wanted to give back. So here's going to be a quick discussion on two things here. One is about the FCC licensing, and the other is going to be about the new pricing plan so we can get people on HF at pennies on the dollar. I mean, for the cost of a Starbucks coffee, you can be on HF remotely without ever worrying about fixing a piece of coax or a radio breaking. Let's face it, not everybody has the finances to go out and buy a brand new $2,000 radio or has the knowledge to fix it when it breaks. So we're going to do a quick presentation here on these two subjects. How to obtain an FCC license from overseas. And listen, this is all new to me. We're just gonna try to wing this as best as we can. I really would love to see an organization here in the U.S. Like do the start to finish process. Maybe the youths. Maybe we can have the youth work on it. But we can't always depend on other organizations to make our lives easier or better. It's like the U.S., it's like the government. You know, you can't expect the government to help you through every step of your life, and this is the same thing. Trying to understand how to get a license overseas is complicated. And I've been getting an awful lot of questions about this. How do I get my FCC license so I can get on RHR? Because the current rules written today under SEPT, if you to operate SEPT here in the United States, you can do it from overseas, but you have to be boots on the ground. You have to physically be boots on the ground in the USA to operate under SEPT. So, that pretty much leaves out anybody that wants to remote into the United States. So let's just say an example. Raymond's in here. He's from the United Kingdom, I believe. Raymond McClear. Maybe you can give me your call sign again. He's sitting over there in the United Kingdom, and he has a UK license. But he would love to be able to operate remote into the United States. He can't. It's illegal. You have to be physically in the country to operate remote. So, how do we get around that? Well, there's a lot of people around the world that have been taking their FCC license. It started off really strong. I started to see the influx from Japan. I've seen a lot of these Japanese operators that were getting their license were coming. They were using an address out of Tacoma, Washington. And I'm like, oh, another Japanese operator here, because I would always ask for the copy of the license, their FCC license. And I noticed all these Japanese operators were using the same address out of Tacoma, Washington. Very interesting. But that was very early on. Now with the huge influx of remoting and young people wanting to get on the air, it's easier than ever since COVID. Since COVID-19, and this is interesting, the FCC allowed remote testing. So you don't have to physically be in the United States to take the test. You can be wherever you are sitting, anywhere in the world to take the test. So they have remote testing now. And you know what the funny part is? The FCC told the ARRL, you could have been doing remote testing for 30 years. Right? COVID had nothing to do with it. Remote testing could have been going on for a long period of time. But the COVID-19 started the remote testing. Okay? So the FCC is on board with remote testing. All you have to have is a U.S. address. And I think a lot of Europeans and around the world, for a matter of fact, you have a friend or you have a family member that has an address in the United States. So you can use that address to get your FCC license, from what I understand. I may be wrong on that, but a lot of people are using individuals' addresses. They get the mail. They get the FCC license, which I don't think is paper anyway. So that's what I understand on how it works. I'm going to have Connor, W4IPC. He's in here. He did the North America QSO party last night from the site right here that's in my view. Connor operated North America QSO party. I think he made like 230,000 points with 1,400 Qs, 1,300 Qs. Connor, maybe you can tell us. Well, anyway, so Connor, if you could post in there how they start the process on obtaining their FCC license, what is the first steps? And I think some organizations got to pick this up and do this. We can't. I don't think the ARRL is going to do it. So some other organization that can do the start to finish process. How do you start to get your FCC license, and how do you finish it on the remote testing? I think if there's like each step on how to obtain it, I think this could go pretty smooth. So Connor's going to put in here some links on how to move forward on the process. So the reason why I'm talking about this today on a Sunday, I got this email today. From Fuker, and he basically said, "Hey, let me see if I can bring up their website here." QRX is the website's coming up. It says right here, welcome to the website of the TA Youngsters team. It's a new site. It's probably still under construction. And they've created a page here that is going to be all about remote operating and remote operating from the United States. So we got 22. Look at this right here. It's probably hard to see. 22 25-year-olds or younger from Turkey are studying, and they're going to be taking their test online, remote testing. Yes, you heard that right, 22. I didn't even know there was 22 TAs in Turkey that were even active. So you got 22 TA Turkey hams that are under 25 years old. They're going to be going for their exam. I think this is a change gamer in a hobby. If you can get 22 young hams to figure it out, I think hams around the world can figure it out on how to obtain your U.S. call sign. And I recommend if you go for the U.S. call sign, do not stop at technician. Get the second class license general as the minimum. So if you get the general class license, you're going to be able to remote into the U.S. and operate. Doesn't have to be an RHR station. It could be your friend's station. It could be whatever station you want. So right now, if you hear anybody on the air operating remote into the United States and they're signing W2 stroke Golf 0 blah, 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 they're operating illegally. The FCC's right in the rules. Boots on the ground. I mean, that's pretty straightforward to me. If you're operating under SEP, you have to be boots on the ground. So what's the best way to get around it? You get your FCC license. So Connor put in a couple links here on where to study and how to obtain. And if you have any questions, you can email me or Connor, and we can help you get you through the process. I think it's very important that we talk about this because you're not going to hear this or see this anywhere else on how to obtain your FCC license to get on the air from the U.S. remotely. So, and then the next thing I want to talk about, this is going to be just a quick presentation here. I want to get back to the football games. Here's a new pricing plan as well. So if you're sitting, say, in Europe somewhere and you don't have any access to HF, and you like to get on for a couple hours a month and just have fun on the radio, it's pretty simple. We have one program here. I just highlighted it here. It's $20 a month. $20 a month, and you get on HF, 13 stations up to 500 watts. Some of those stations have big tri-banders on 100-foot towers, and you get up to 500 watts. You get the pan adapter. You get to operate from the browser. You don't need any equipment. You get to rotate the beams. It has a built-in logger, automatically up to Logbook of the World for you. You can connect with your iPhone, iPad. If you want to stay anonymous, you don't have to check in the chat, so nobody's ever know that you're on the system. We have an integrated DX cluster, your Logbook of the World that's linked to the other logger there. I'm trying to think that keeps tracks of your totals there. Club log. It's linked with Club Log. You can reserve stations for contest. So for $20 a month, you just put it on your credit card. Forget it. It's like a gym membership, and you get to operate each month for that $20, and you get free airtime with that. If you happen to go over your free airtime for the month, well, then you just pay the permitted usage. It starts at 9 cents a minute. Listen, at 9 cents a minute, if you're on for an hour a day, that's like the price of a Starbucks coffee. You could be QRV each month for the cost of a Starbucks coffee. So I just want to put that into perspective. If you decided that you just wanted to run the 9-cent stations with 100 watts and 100 watts. If you'd rather just pay for the year and get it out of the way, it's $99 for the year membership. You get the same thing you get for the $20 a month. The $20 a month gives you some free airtime. The $99 a year, you just pay the $99 membership. You get in the door. You get to operate. It's really inexpensive when you come down to it. Again, you're getting 500-watt stations with big antennas on both coasts of the United States, including Haiti, including the Caribbean, including 9 Alpha, which I'm going to touch on to here in a moment. Then you get to the big boy here, the Premium DX. I see a lot of people always focus on this number, this $9.99 a year. The reason why it's so expensive is these stations are not these are not inexpensive stations to build. You're talking stations that cost anywhere between $100,000 to $500,000 to build. So at $99 a year, you're getting a station that would cost you a minimum, on average, about $250,000 to build. So if you want access to it, we grant you access to it. But you're going to pay a membership fee to get in, plus the usage. We include $200 of free airtime at sign-up. So it's really $7.99 a year plus the minutes. A lot of guys focus on this. Not everybody's going to sign up for Premium DX. We already know that. But if you want the best of the best, and you want to get on a year and operate with mono banders and win contests, well, Premium DX is the way to go. But again, we don't expect everybody to do it. And then we have a short wave listening program all the way to the right. Same thing as the first program at $20 a month. You can also be a shortwave listener from outside the United States. And you get for $20 a month, you get the same airtime, and you get 13 stations that you can listen to at any time you want. And those 13 stations are anywhere from a dipole in a tree to big antennas on 100-foot towers. So I just wanted to touch base on the pricing here because, we put this new pricing plan out, and we've seen a huge influx of signees. Because it's really a bargain when you come down to it. When you actually come and physically see the stations, it's really, really a bargain. So again, Remote DX is $20 a month. You get 13 stations up to 500 watts. That includes $10 of free airtime each month, and you're in the door. If you only want to pay for 1 month, you just pay for 1 month and you're done. So you don't have to continue on. So you could try it for 1 month. If you don't like it, you stop it. If you know you're going to be away for a few months, you come back another couple months and you sign up for the month. If there's a de-expedition coming up and you need a new country, the remote DX with the 500 watts will get you to the pile-up. You will work that de-expedition. I could promise you that. On the $99 a year plan, this is for somebody that's saying, hey, you know what? I know I'm going to be a member for the whole year. The $99 is actually a bargain over the $20 a month. And I'm just going to continue on. Plus, this includes, for first-time signees, $20 of free airtime. So it's really $79 for the year. And this gets you with some pretty good stations, tri-banders. Some of them actually have mono-banders. And you know, you can ask Connor in here. He operates the Blueberry, the Jefferson station quite a bit, Taconic. He can tell you how good this station works. The premium DX, again, I don't expect everybody to do this. You know, this is like the top tier of stations in the U.S. For a matter of fact, you could arguably say these are the top stations in the U.S. because they sit on both coasts of the United States. Some of them are on the Pacific Ocean, and some of them are on the Atlantic Ocean. And they cost a pretty penny to build. And I can tell you, to maintain these stations are not easy. And then you got the shortwave program. So, if you're here in the United States watching this, you can easily come over to the remote DX side for $20 a month. You can have HF with you all the time. Remember, you can operate from your iPhone. You can operate from your iPad. You can be on vacation. You could be in that hotel. And you'll have access to this all the time. I look at this as a gym membership. I don't go to the gym when before COVID-19. I didn't go to the gym every day. There might have been times I didn't go to the gym for the whole month, but I still paid the membership fee because I always wanted to have that in my back pocket in case I needed to get to the gym. So for $20 a month, you can get in there, you get up to 500 watts, and it's a lot of fun. The Remote DX for the yearly plan is a bargain at $99 a year membership. And you know, the reason why we charge a membership is because we have overhead. We have to maintain these stations. So you know, these are nice stations. Some of them are really good. Some of them have won contests in the U.S., but we limit it to 500 watts. We limit it to 500 watts because, you know, amplifiers are expensive, and these KPA 500s are the right fit for 500 watts, and they'll get you through the pile-up. And then if you want to go for the big boy, there's the Premium DX. So I wanted to catch base on that. But while I'm at it, let me get back in here. 9 Alpha Croatia, okay? If you have a SEPT agreement, with Croatia, you can operate under SEPT out of Europe. So let's just say, I think Germany has SEPT agreement with Croatia. I mean, you're going to have to look this up. I don't know every country in Europe. So let's just say you're in Europe. You have no way to get on HF. Well, guess what? The station in Croatia will get you access. Now, it's only 2 stations. So there may be times you have to wait to get on the air. But I got some really, really good news for those that are in Europe that watch this show on a regular basis. We have more stations coming in Europe. And one of them is going to be right on the coast, in zone 14, and it's on the Atlantic. So there's another station coming in on zone 14 on the Atlantic. I don't want to spill the beans on the country, but it's a contest station, and it's on a hilltop, and it's near salt water. So that's coming down the pike. So you'll have other agreements. So Ireland has a SEPT agreement with Croatia. Robbie, you can absolutely operate that station. So if you want to operate from Croatia, I don't know if that's even something that you want to do. Listen, I'm in here. I'm not telling anybody to do this. I'm just telling you the opportunities. So if Robbie would like to operate from Croatia, if that was something he wanted to do, he could absolutely do it. We do not want Lima Zulu 5 on RHR. No way, Connor. I already got out of that marriage. So, but there are other European stations in Europe that are a possibility. Yes, Paul, this is really good news. So anybody that's in Europe that wants to get the QRV, I would love to put something in the United Kingdom. I would love to do something in Germany. You know, anybody in those countries that where remoting, if remoting's allowed in your country in Europe, see, here in the U.S., it says boots on the ground. So it's a done deal. You cannot remote into the United States under SEPT. And I think it's the same wording in Canada. I don't think the Canadians could do that. For a matter of fact, the Canadian, even though we have a SEPT agreement and they're over the border, a Canadian cannot remote into the United States. So if you ever hear anybody remoting into the United States from another country, they're operating illegally. It's still happening. Nobody's following the rules, but we do. So, yeah, I mean, listen, Hotel Bravo 9, Echo Lima Hotel would be of interest if there's a SEPT agreement that people can remote into Austria remotely. As the same thing in Ireland. If there's an agreement that in Ireland they will allow remoting under SEPT, absolutely. I think our biggest problem in the hobby today is regulations. Regulations is holding back the hobby. Just imagine the amount of people that would be on the air if we had mutual agreements under SEPT to operate remote. You know, there's a big disconnect in the hobby that, you know, remoting's just a long microphone cord. That's all it is. When I operate this station in front of me here on my backdrop here, this station right now is 105 miles from me, and I operate it remotely. What's the difference that it's 105 miles from me or 5,000 miles from me? Is there any difference? It's still remoting. So if I can operate SEPT in Germany, if I'm physically there, why couldn't I do it remotely? So I think the rules are a little behind the times here. I think the expansion of the hobby is kind of being choked, in my personal opinion. But the good news is there's ways to get around it. So if you're in another country and you want to get your FCC license, it's easier now than ever. Connor has put a couple links in here on how to do it. One of them is the hamstudy.org. And then and he put in here where you can test here for free. The testing now is online. You online test. They call it remote testing. You don't even have to physically come to the United States. You don't have to go to a club or anything like that. You can do all the testing online. And you know what? The more ham operators we get in the United States, the better. So I think it's a great idea to get hams on the air. And like I said earlier, let me get in here. Right here. It's hard for me to bring this up. TA youngsters. 22. I'm not saying 22. Youngsters in Turkey, of all countries, Turkey, are studying to get their FCC license so they can operate remotely into the U.S. and take advantage of the RHR youth program, because we don't turn anybody away. If you're 25 years or younger and you're a ham radio operator with an FCC license, we don't turn you away. We keep on expanding. We just built a station the other day. And let me see if I can bring that one up. Right here. We just built this station. It's in Cape Cod. It's called W1 Marconi. It's only 3 miles from the old Marconi site on the ocean in Cape Cod. Here's Bobby shooting up a launcher. Here's the equipment inside the building. Here's Rock coating it up. And here's the OCF at 100 feet. And here's the swamp that it sits behind. So the possibilities are endless here. We can put up 100 watt sites with dipoles all over the world and get people on the air. Imagine doing that. Imagine having a whole network of stations throughout the world operating. Obviously our software is really good because it's from a web browser. It has a built-in logger. Automatically uploads the logbook of the world for you. Also goes to a club log so you can keep a track of your DXCC totals. And, you can do everything you can from your own station, but from your PC. So, there's a lot of things going on. So here's Lee, Victor Kilo 3, Golf Kilo. They got a great program down in Australia. And a lot of these Australians, Lee could tell you, because he knows a lot of them, that are operating remote in the United States because they took the exam in Australia. Now the U.S. offers them online. So these guys that took them where they had to go to their local test sites in Australia, they don't have to do that anymore. They could do it online. And here's a link from Lee Moyle, Victor Kilo 3 Golf Kilo, on how to do that. And Connor's put a lot of information in here. So I wish, I like to get the word out. We're just, a small little group here. But I think would be great if we can get the word out that, this online testing, anybody can get an FCC license as long as they have an address they can use in the United States. And that's pretty easy to do. So, Connor, it's unlimited. Once Starlink comes out, Starlink's another thing. We have a QTH. We have a QTH up in the mountains in the middle of Maine, just waiting for Starlink. We're probably going to be making a trip to North Carolina here sooner than later. Because we're going to need more sites. Because you know what, the youths are coming in at a high rate, and now with 22 TA hams getting their license so they can get access to RHR, it's only gonna spread. And the next thing it might be 22 Germans or 22 Irishmen or 22 JAs, young kids looking to get access. So it's unlimited what can be done. So I wanted to do a quick presentation here. I didn't want to go too long here. I wanted to talk about the new pricing plan, which is affordable for almost anybody. Some people may not be able to afford $20. Well, so be it. But we've made it as simple and easy as you possibly can. And you can get in and operate these stations. In the broadband, I understand, Robbie, about the broadband. Starlink is going to change this game. Definitely going to change this game for remoting. So, there's a couple of things that's going on here. All the rules and regulations are way behind the technology, and that always happens. I've been trying to get a simple rule change in one of the in all the ARRL contests, and it's like, that's like pulling teeth because that's an organization that they have to go through board meetings, several board meetings, and it's like the U.S. government. 50% are Democrats and 50% are Republicans in the ARRL, and they kind of butt heads there, and nothing really happens. So their rules are way behind the times. Some of the other contest organizations like CQ, they're caught up. They're in pretty good shape. So, like I said, the rules are way behind where the technology is today. But this FCC online remote testing can open up the door for hams around the world that are sitting. I could tell you, I know many because I get the emails. When I live stream, I get the emails, I wish I could get on, man, from the U.S. and operate, but, I don't have a FCC license. Well, that game is over now. Remote testing. So, Connor's in here, and Yeah, Aaron's in here. I'm remote operating in Israel with my FCC license. That's great, Aaron. That's fantastic. I don't know if you're operating our system or another system, but having access from Israel with with his FCC license really is truly amazing. And that's what Aaron just wrote. The technology is amazing. It really is. You know, even when I remote into 9 Alpha, and I did that 3:30 this morning for those of you that were up. I was on at 3:30 this morning, and I was operating out of Croatia. And I actually live streamed it. The pile-up was fun. I had a nice QSO with a guy in England, Golf 1 Italy, Zulu, Quebec. And we went back and forth for about 30 minutes. He was 5'9 plus 40 in Croatia. Mr. Shepard, Tom Shepard. So, you know, it's really awesome. The technology is here today. So, again, let me just recap for any of you that just checked in. So what I'm talking about is remote testing on how to obtain your FCC license from your own home. Connor has put a bunch of links in here. So Connor is Connor Black. So if you look back here in chat, Connor will explain to you on how to go about the testing. Lee Moyle from Australia also put some information in here. All you need is an address, and I'm sure you can find an address in the USA. That's not too difficult to do. And you will have your FCC license, and you can remote either into a paid service or you can remote into one of your friends' stations in the U.S. Currently, today, you cannot operate remote into the United States. The wording's very simple. The FCC says boots on the ground. I mean, that's pretty plain language to me. And some people are still ignoring it. But if you're going to operate into the U.S., it's boots on the ground. Would I love to see that wording change? Absolutely. I think that's holding back the hobby. I think that wording, boots on the ground, is holding back the hobby. I would love to see more people on the air and operating. But we have to go with the rules the way the rules are. So they have boots on the ground, and now they have remote testing. And obviously the FCC is in the money-making business now, because now they're charging for licenses. It's $39 or $35 to get your license or renew it. So now they're in the money-making business. I think the FCC is going to be on board. They're going to love more people coming in and getting their license because they're going to make $35 a pop for every new licensee, and then another $35 when they renew after 10 years. So this is all good news. This is how to go about getting your FCC license. The steps are pretty simple, I think. I haven't done it myself. But I think if somebody wants to get on board, I'm hoping somebody in the U.S. can get on and just do like a simple process, the easy steps on how to get your FCC license from overseas. If we can do like a dummy, like what do they call it, like a dummy for FCC license. Just the easy steps on how to obtain the FCC license and links and where to study. I can guarantee you hundreds of thousands of foreigners from around the world to get their FCC license just because it can open up the door for them to operate from the U.S. remotely. And it doesn't have to be from a paid service. You can operate from your friends. Listen, with Flex Radio today, you just put the radio on the desk, get the IP address, and your friend from another country can download Smart SDR, and he's on your station within minutes. That's how simple it is today. So if you're a ham radio operator sitting and you don't have a station to operate, there's a lot of opportunities for you today. It may not be in your own country because your own country may not allow remoting. But if you get the FCC license, you don't have to follow the regulations in your own country because you're now following the regulations as an FCC operator. So it's irrelevant where you live in the world. And I can tell you, there's a lot of hams in Japan and Europe that are operating remotely to the U.S. with FCC calls. And I highly recommend that you go for the general or above. Coming in as a technician is not going to help you. There's very little HF privileges as a technician licensed operator. And I would love to see that get changed too as well. I think opening up a little privileges for technicians on a few more bands and sideband would certainly open up the door to getting them involved in ham radio. But that's a whole different subject. I'm talking about somebody sitting in another country. If you're physically in another country and you're sitting there saying, I wish I can get on ham radio, or my station is not playing, my radio just broke, I can't get on the air, well, that could be solved. And that could be solved pretty easily by just getting your FCC license. You can contact one of your buddies in the U.S. Everybody is going to be remoting here sooner or later. It's inevitable. All these radios today that are coming to the market have remote access to them, where your buddy could share the same station as you. Flex Radio happens to be the leader in this because they've been working on it a little bit longer. The Flex Radio is nothing but a computer, and it's already set up for remote operating. And that's why I'm on the Flex Radio bandwagon. Plus, the radios are really good. The receivers are really nice. I have no problem sitting here telling you how much I like the Flex Radio. It's made my life a lot easier operating it. The receiver is awesome, and it's very easy to remote. Again, I'll go back to it very quickly here. I hate to jump on the bandwagon here, but here we are. 2 hours. Let me put up my fingers. 2 hours. We show up in Cape Cod. Here's Bobby shooting up the line to go over the 100-foot pine tree. Here's the equipment we put in the building and downstairs in a garage. You can see the tool behind the back of the radio. There's a little garage that we put it in. Here's Rockwell, WW1X, just doing his magic on the PC just to get it remoted and set up for the youths to get on the air. Here's Rock with a hammer. I don't know what he was doing. I hope he didn't hit himself in the head. And here's the OCF. This is the off-center fed dipole at 100 feet. We found a nice pine tree. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to get 20, 30, 40 hams on the air. Because not everybody operates the same time. Not everybody's going to be operating every day. So, one station like this, power supply, Flex Radio, router, server, and you're in business. You have now just created yourself a remote site. Now you can open up this remote site to your buddies. Under Flex Radio, they have a thing called Smart SDR. You can operate their software. It gets you in instantly. That's how good the hobby's gotten. And now anybody can do it. You just got to have the right tools. And here's the right tools. I'm a big fan about having the right tools in the toolbox. And the Flex Radio is the right tools in the toolbox to make it happen. Sure, there's other radios that you can remote. But it's not as easy as the Flex Radio. I can tell you that. I've done them all. I got rid of the remote rigs. The remote rigs were a nightmare. The remote rig... Mike, you burnt your own bridge there. You can't sit here and blame us. So, that's the future of the hobby. That is the future of the hobby. And like I said, it took us all of 2 hours to set up the station remotely. And I'm doing the same exact thing next week in... it's going to be called W2 Roosevelt. It's the Roosevelt Station. It's right next to the FDR Morse building. Right here in Hyde Park, New York, not too far from where I am. We're putting a station 2 miles from that location. So we look forward to doing that as well. Again, this program is not scripted. I'm just going on the flow here. So just to recap one more time before I check out of here, because I notice a lot of people check in and check out. I just want to mention, if you're sitting in another country and you wish you could either become a ham radio license operator or wish you could operate remoted to the United States, well, we have a fix for it. Just get your FCC license. It's easier now than ever. There's online remote testing. And how to do it is very simple. Just follow the steps in here. Connor put all the steps you need to do to get the ball started. If you have any questions after you get the ball started, just get back to me. The only reason I'm doing this presentation is I'm getting overloaded with emails. I want to get my FCC license. How do I do it? I don't think there's any publications anywhere on how to obtain your FCC license remotely from another country. It'll tell you how to get your FCC license sitting in the United States, but that doesn't do any good for somebody that's sitting in another country. So the process is all here. Connor put it in on how to do it in person, how to take it online, and to take the free tests so you can practice as well. It's all free until you take till you take the exam. I think there's a fee to take the exam. I may be wrong about that. I know there's a $35 fee now. So I just wanted to pass that along to everybody. And I just wanted to do a quick presentation on the new pricing plan. You can scroll back to that later. And this is the W1 Marconi site that we just put up to add more capacity for the Utes to get them on the air. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. Please share this video. Please share this video with your friends. It would really be great that we can get this word out on how to get your license overseas, because I think there's a huge opportunity there to get the hams all over the world with FCC license. So Connor says the exam is free for youth, so that's even better. That's great. And what age group is that, Connor? Under 25, or is it younger than that? And again, if you're a youth sitting in another country, if you're 25 years old or younger and you're sitting in another country and you have no access to ham radio, take the FCC exam. We'll get you on the air. I promise you that. Again, I'll repeat that. If you're under 25 years of age and you're sitting in another country and you want to get on HF, I will get you on the air. RHR, Remote Ham Radio, will get you on the air. We have a program under 25 years old. There is a limitation on how many hours you can operate a month, but we hope to expand that beyond that number by the more stations we implement, just like this one we implemented yesterday or 2 days ago, in Cape Cod, called the W1 Marconi site. Same grid square as the old Marconi site where he made that transmission overseas, that transatlantic transmission overseas. So there you go. Just wanted to get that in here on a Sunday afternoon. I'm going to get back to watching the football game. Thank you very much for checking this out. Hope you could share this with your friends. And, those of you coming in over Facebook, please check out our YouTube channel and also our Twitch channel. Trying to get more people over there because the platform's a lot better for streaming. Thank you very much for watching. Connor, thank you very much for putting that information in there. Lee, thank you very much for putting the information in there as well. 7-3 all from the United States here in New York.